What's up guys, it's Carter Kid, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new MGC Square-1. Now prior to it being released, the MGC Square-1 had a lot of hype built around it. The first time I saw this teased was in July 2020, so almost a year ago. YJ has been sending this cube to testers and been teasing it for almost a year, so you'd think it'd be perfect. Now don't get me wrong, this cube is great. However, there are a few shortcomings and things that could be better on this cube. But first, let's just get into the specs. Now, I don't know the exact specs about this cube, but here's what I can tell you. This cube is $19.99 on thecubicle.com, but less if you use code KTK, and was released on April 24th, 2021. Comparing the weight to my Volt V2, it's slightly heavier, but not that noticeable. And I'm pretty sure they're exactly the same size. This puzzle also has frosted plastic, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you know, you gotta deal with it. The shades of this puzzle look really nice. Out of the box, they come pre-installed with yellow caps, but I switched it out for black. And yeah, those are some basic specs. Now, out of the box, my opinions on this cube was actually mixed. The fluid and fast turning surprised me. However, every now and then I would get huge catches and lockups just like this, which was really annoying. And I said to myself, that can be fixed with a little bit of setup. So, here's how I set up the puzzle. Now, I threw a lot of lube into this thing, which I don't recommend doing, but yeah, here's pretty much what I did. I started out by putting weight 5 in the slice and into the pieces, and after that, I put in some Mystic on the slice and pieces as well. After that, I put in some D&M 37 to speed it up, but I put a bit too much in, so then I put some Gravitas on the pieces to slow it down. And now it's reached a really fast and controllable speed. However, I don't recommend using that much lube on one puzzle. Now let's go over some things that the MGC fixed that the Volt V2 had problems with. First off, edge breaking. The only instance that I know of that somebody has broken an edge is my friend Brendan. He was trying to take off the caps and used a bit too much force and ended up breaking an edge. And David Epstein, the Square-1 world record holder, broke an edge with a testing version, but I don't think he's broken an edge on the current released version. Some people have broken dozens of edges on the Volt V2, so it's good to see that YJ has addressed this problem. Another issue is the lock nut. This lock nut is really high quality and premium, and I really don't think it's gonna break. However, the lock nut on the Volt is really cheap and flimsy, so I can see how people could break it. Something else this puzzle improved on is corner cutting. Now, at first, it might not seem like you can corner cut a Square-1 since you can turn on almost every axis. However, if you put a corner just like this, you can try corner cutting. And on the MGC, it corner cuts really well. It cuts almost everywhere in any direction, which I think is really cool. During algorithms, this flows really well, and I really like the corner cutting of this puzzle. Now, I've mentioned a lot of things I like about this cube, but now let's get into things I dislike. First off, the magnets. Compared to the magnets in the U and D layers, the magnets in the slice are way too strong. I wouldn't be complaining this much about the slice magnets if the U and D layers magnets were this weak. So here's what the magnets of the Volt V2 look like. As you can see, there's this magnet connecting to this corner, and so on, including this edge and this corner. And this gives a really consistent magnetic feel across the Volt V2. However, on the MGC, it's just this corner that's magnetized. In my opinion, it's really strange that they would just magnetize this corner, and it makes the U and D layers feel really weak compared to the slice. However, with some lube, it feels a bit more consistent. Another thing I dislike are the catches and lockups I get. As I mentioned earlier, if I'm spamming SPS, I get these huge lockups like this, and I sometimes get pops, which is really uncommon for Square-1. Another problem that I think I'm the only person to have experienced is the screw stripping. Now don't worry, my core didn't strip, but when I got this out of the box, I think I tightened it a bit too much, and that ruined the screw, and I'm unable to tension it. But as I said, that's my fault. Other than that, this puzzle is really solid. Now, I've said some pretty negative things about this cube, but you might still be asking the question, should you get this cube? Well, if you're willing to set up your Square-1, I think you should go for this cube. In my opinion, this is the most revolutionary Square-1 on the market right now, and you should definitely go for it if you're into Square-1 and are willing to set it up. Without setup, this puzzle is really uncontrollable, but if you just put some heavy lube in and tighten the tensions, I think it can be really good. One problem I have with this puzzle is I tried doing some solves on my Volt V2 after getting this puzzle, and the cube felt like garbage. I couldn't turn on my Volt V2 after trying this cube, which shows how good it is. So yeah, if you're willing to set up your Square-1, you should definitely go for this puzzle. However, if you're gonna replace the caps, you should be careful, because people have broken pieces like that, and have also gotten stress marks on it, which affects the turning. I want to give a huge thanks to thecubicle.com for sending me this cube. If you want to get this cube, you should use code KTK at checkout to save 5% off your entire order. Thank you to CFOP iFlop for using code KTK at checkout. If you use code KTK and send me a picture, you can get a shout out in the next video. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, see you guys next time.